Hello class, it's Mr. Iman, and I wanted to make a short video this morning about getting started with your literature review. I've now approved your topics for the literature review, and now you need to take that next step. And it might be a little confusing as to what that next step is. I want you to look at your Blackboard page, and you'll see as you see here, looking at mine, where to go for the next step. On the side menu, if you go down, you see how to write a literature review. So let's click on that, and you'll find that there's an article here. This is the very next thing that you need to do now that you've got your topic approved. So you need to read this page in its entirety. You can also print this page off by clicking on the PDF link here, and that's probably a great idea as well, so that you can refer back to that. As you start reading, there are several important things. Right off the bat, it's really important to know what a literature review is. This gives a definition of what that literature review is, summary, explanation of the complete and current state of knowledge on the topic that you've chosen, found in academic books and journal articles. So it's important that you get in your mind that this is not your opinion about the topic. This is not a general Google search about the topic. This is not referring to popular books about the topic. This is going to journal articles and academic books and seeing what the communication scholars have said about this, what they've researched and discovered about this topic. And now you're going to write a paper that shares that in an organized fashion. The purpose of the literature review is described here, and I wanted to point out the last three items. As I read those, in my mind, this almost might form a outline for my paper, because the last three purposes there, it says the literature review is to highlight key findings. Second, identify inconsistencies, gaps, and contradictions in the literature and provide a constructive analysis of the methodologies and approaches of other researchers. Sounds like a great way to outline that paper. So it describes the paper itself, an introduction, body, and conclusion. Make sure in your introduction you have this, a clear thesis sentence describing what you're going to be doing with that. The body of the paper here, it describes that, the conclusion, and now it gives 9 steps for writing a literature review. You've already accomplished step 1, and that's finding a working topic and having it approved. And now your next step after reading this article is to start reviewing the literature for and about that topic. As you read and find articles in communication journals about that topic as it relates to interpersonal communication, you might need to narrow your topic slightly or even adjust what your topic is as you read and evaluate those articles. And then step number 5, organize the selected paper or sources, looking for patterns, and then developing your own subtopics, findings that are common or contested, 2 or 3 important trends in the research, the most influential theories. Again, think about these as sections of your paper. The literature review is not simply going from this person says this person says this, or this researcher says this. It's important to organize it properly. Develop a working research, organize the paper based on the steps 4 and 5, and then begin writing. As you write the paper, realize it's not a stream of consciousness. It's not something that you just sit down and spit out as you type. It is an organized process, and you should be writing your paper in steps. Write a section of it that deals with a part of the outline of your paper, and then write another section that deals with another part of the outline of your paper. If you haven't outlined your paper, you're just writing as a stream of consciousness. So organizing it and outlining what you're going to do before you even start writing is very important. Number 9, look at what you've written. Focus on analysis and not description. And it gives some examples here. And it says that one of the most common problems with student literature reviews is that if you look at most of the paragraphs, it simply begins with the researcher's name. That's not evaluating and comparing from an analytical viewpoint. And so reading what you've written from focusing on the analysis is very important. And it gives some examples here. And finally, it gets down to what we need to have at the very end, the revising and editing of your work. You want to be at this point about a week before the paper is due. And so that you've got time to properly revise and edit that paper. So what I've shared with you today is that on our Blackboard course site, on the side menu, it talks about how to write a literature review. So now that you've got your topic approved, now go and read that article, print it out, and refer back to it as you start the writing process and complete it. Hopefully that tool will help guide you to write a successful and satisfying literature review paper.